So that's how we should position ourselves on the tsunami, in the center of the tsunami, which is not to be, again, passive or indifferent. Quite the opposite is the best way, because when you are centered, that's the only way where you can be supportive.
Hello everyone and welcome to my channel in these encounters with beautiful and inspiring minds. Please like and subscribe so that you too can become part of this process of getting closer and closer to the truth. And like Marco, my guest here, says, closer and closer to our true nature. And also, if you have something to say and want to share your message, please contact me and let's talk. And today my guest is Marco Missinato. Do I pronounce your name well, Marco?
Yeah, perfectly.
He's an artist, and I quote from his website, a creative communicator who uses the power of his heart-inspired creativity, music, words, and photography to deliver supportive messages to people, inspire them to dare into the voice of their heart and overcome the fears of limited beliefs. Welcome, Marco. I'm happy to have you here in my show.
Thank you, Suzana. I'm very honored to be with you and your listeners.
Yeah, I can't wait to explore more of what you're doing. There's so many subjects that I would like to get into with you, as your activity covers so many areas. Like, you are expressing your creation via several sites from what I've seen, such as Sounds of Oneness, Marco Missinato, Walking the Path, and Missinato Photography. You are such a complete artist. I admire you and I envy you in a way. You're a composer, a pianist, a photographer, a writer, and a blogger. So how or when did you decide, if it was a moment of decision, to use these artistic skills for spiritual purposes, to say the least, and, for lack of better words?
Well, it was a natural state of being from the very beginning. Since I was a little boy, I felt the vibration of my surrounding. And then based on that, I decided that that was the best way to navigate through this journey, by just tapping into my uniqueness and offering the product of it to whoever was in resonance with it.
But how come you got in touch with music? What was your first encounter with music? Because I'm curious about that.
That's a difficult question to ask, because we need to address the question. Is it a question of a stretch beyond this lyrical form, or you're talking about this specific lifetime? Because
in general, okay, I see. Let's start with this lifetime.
Yeah, because I have a lot of history in many other situations, and different physicality that see me involved with sound and many other things. Like all of us, we all have a history that stretches for the infinite of the universe. So this lifetime, well, since I can recall, the music and the sounds were the conduit to my soul. And I suspect it is like that for most of us. But in me, it really triggered the creative process of actually creating music. So I would just I would not be able to resist being next to an instrument, to go there and just touch it and make sounds from it. And as soon as I do that, immediately melodies would come through, emotions would come through, love, deep, profound love would come through. And so there was a dance that I discovered immediately when I was a little child, and I never left it until now.
So it was a magnetic attraction, in a way.
Well, we all come from frequencies. Frequencies are sounds. So sounds are the roots of our existence. So when a musician is able to conceive, to download music with a complete pure heart, the music that is conceived and produced has the ability to instantly remove any illusion of separation. And also it can literally take you right away to the full remembering of who you really are. That's the power of music when it's conceived in a very non-egoic way.
I see. Because, you know, art is by definition an expression and a generator of emotion. So how do you see then the role of emotions in this process of unfoldment of our true nature? Where do you place emotions in this process of who we are?
Well, there is different situation with the emotions field. There are emotions that are repressed, that are stuck within us. There are lower emotions that reflect the anxiety and the fear of the ego. And there are very high emotions that are basically a vehicle to enunciate our physical experience. So music has the ability, for example, to unstuck those low frequencies emotions that are within us, that we have created by adopting some narrative in the past, some ideas of what happened in the past. And so the music can really bring them out so that we can release them and let them go and free ourselves, and then connect with the real organic emotions that comes from the soul, which are based on joy and fun and excitement and all that, appreciation.
But please explain to me, because I'm curious how you see it. We all have a sort of a metaphor for everything. Every time we think of something, we have an image or some sort of representation of it in our minds. And for you, probably it's happening mostly through sound. But I was curious, how do you see this process of releasing the blocked emotions? What do you see when you think of that? What do you think that actually happens if our viewers were to have a visual of that? How do you see this process? Are they like diluting? Are they being released somewhere? It's a change of frequency?
Well, okay. So the first thing important to understand is that the artist, and when I say artist, I mean everybody. Anybody can be a artist, right? So in the creative process, the first thing you need to make sure that you remove from the formula is the expectation. Mm-hmm. So I don't create whatever I choose to create because I expect something. Because if I do so, then immediately the ego comes in and we start to manipulate the information, and then the result is not supportive as it could be when we maintain a pure state of predisposition. So it's like basically going back to when we were like 2 or 3 years old, where we are connected with the fleeting moment, with the here and now, and we are navigating through the wonder of each moment with zero expectation, with zero ego mind narrative of what happened in the past and what could go wrong in the future. It's not like that. We are just purely in the here and now, and we just play with it. We play with whatever comes through. So that is the predisposition of anybody that embrace a creative process, whatever that is. Being said that, if you allow yourself to create in that manner, doesn't matter what you do, it has in it a divine quality, a transformational quality, because the ego is not part of it. And so you can sing a song, or you can play a piano, you can deliver a mail as a postman, or you can build a car. It doesn't really matter. When there is that purity, the result is always extremely impactful and transformative, not only for the person that is the creator, but also for those that are in resonance with that creation. But so to answer your question, every time is different. It depends. What is the timing for whoever is subject to the vibration. So there might be people that just are not ready for it and they go away, and some people are ready for it and they might burst into tears, or might start to feel some emotions or some fears or some anguish or something that needs to come out. Or you might be already very much in tune with your soul, and then you feel just great joy, and you just start to dance and embrace everyone. It depends. It depends also the tune, what is the emotion that the tune is evoking. So there are many factors that play the result of whatever we offer as artists.
But it's in principle, it's something that happens through your body, right? So you are releasing something from you, because where are these blocked emotions stuck? In the body, no?
Yeah, that everything is energy. So fear is just energy. Joy is energy. It's just different frequencies of energies. And so where are they stuck? Usually within our avatar. Often in our lower belly, we have a lot of emotions stuck there, because the lower part of the intestine represent the human collective intelligence. And so when we connect with that part of us, we are connecting with all the entire history and wisdom and experience of human history since the very beginning until now. That's how powerful is this antenna that is in our intestine. So there sometimes we find emotions that are related to our personal history, or maybe are reflecting mirroring the entire collective.
The collective ones, I see. Because on your site, you mentioned that you're offering 1 hour conversation with people who would like to explore more of themselves. And what can people expect from these conversations? Are you using the conversation only? Are you using music? What can someone expect out of you? Okay, we have no expectations, but still, just for people to know what you're doing.
It's a communion where we both don't know what is going to happen. We just embrace the mystery and we just communicate, and we allow things to flow. It might be it might take us, or it will take us wherever it needs to take us. The teacher students are two faces of the same coin that is within ourselves. We are always both sides. So I might be the student when I talk to someone in this matter, and sometimes I'm a teacher and vice versa. And both we are evolving, and we are both remembering, we are both understanding better, getting more clarity. So it's not just one way. It's we just both share and communicate from a level of soulfulness, and then we allow things to come naturally. And yeah, again, no expectation, because if you expect something, then most likely you are going to get disappointed.
For sure. But if I was to have that conversation with you now, what would you tell me? What would you do first? Would you just sit?
We already having a conversation.
Well, no, but like for sure. We would
just start to talk and share. Unless the person comes with already a very specific matter, and then we will talk about that. I don't know. I never know what I'm doing. Because if I know what I'm doing, then again, I start to put myself in a box.
I see.
I start to create a structure, and in that structure, it's fine. But then in the structure, I limited the potentiality of what can unfold. Why, if I don't know and I open myself to the mystery, life itself can come through me and play whatever game whatever dance we want to dance, you know? it's like if I close all the windows, the sun cannot come in. If I open all the windows, the sun come in and can illuminate things that I've never seen before, maybe in the room.
So basically, our true nature is this spontaneity of being out of those structures. What would be your, because that's why we're having an interview, so we can put words into these beautiful experiences of yours. And unfortunately, that's what we have for now, for the time being, to use those terms and words and definitions in order to try to explain or to bring people listening to us to what you experience. That's my curiosity, what you experience. How does it feel to be like this? So the definition, if you want, of the true nature is that spontaneity, or you have another one? How would you define who we are?
Yeah, there is nothing wrong about structure. However, and I use structures, but structure for me as just a trigger to move energy, so that I kind of give a direction, but then I let it go. And I let the structure to expand, to take form, whatever shape and form, and I keep myself being fluid with it, because if the structure is rigid, yeah, it works, it creates a result, but usually the result is not, again, with that divine content that can have when we let go. That's exactly what we need to do. One of the many things we need to know right now, to surrender, to align with the here and now, and letting go at the idea of memories and the idea of what, or how, or when, or where, and all that. That is really none of our business. That's life that is going to take care of that. Our responsibility, the ability to respond, is to basically, from the here and now, tune in with our antenna and allow the here and now to guide us, because the here and now is where the soul, our soul, resides. Okay, and we have this ego, which is a software. The ego is just an implant. That is his work is to constantly distract us from who we are, from the soul, by creating narrative. It goes into our library of memories, and he pick up stuff and he start to create these amazing stories about it, right? and so we are taken by these stories, and we are going constantly from future and past, future and past, future and past, and in that way we are navigating through the journey in a sort of anxious, fear-based, controlling, needing control way, where we need to control everything because it's not safe out there, And these are all fantastic stories, and they give us a tremendous amount of opportunity to learn things. However, now that we are at the end of the cycle, we are going to let go. We're going to let go of this because it's time for us to go back to our original blueprint, where there is no ego at all. In fact, the ego is losing his grip on us more and more as we progress into it. And that also create a lot of, how can I say, panic or concern, because we have been using the ego so much that we got to the point where we believe that we are the ego. We are all these voices. And so the identification with the narrative of the ego and the narrative of the system is so completed that now that it's crumbling, it really scares us. It's like if we have been in a jail for 50 years. We are so involved with this jail,
attached to this,
and with the guy that brings us food, and all the dynamics of this reality, that if somebody comes in and says, okay, the door is open, you can go out, we just might even react violently. We are so attached this is the paradox that is happening right now. We are so attached to this reality that we need to let go now, that we are even, some of us are willing to defend with their life their victimizers, you know, because their victimizer is, in a way, their comfort zone, their guides, their identification. And now we need to let go of all this because we need to go back to being a butterfly. You know, we cannot be a caterpillar for much longer.
No, for sure. But let me keep you here for a moment. Talk about letting go and surrendering. I mean, people listening, we know how hard it is. I know when you're on the other side, it seems easy when you look back. I mean, if we are to look at all those things we've grown out of, and now we evolved, and then we understand things. But because we've been through these experiences in the past, so how do we surrender? Is it something that, according to in your vision, is it something we do naturally? People know how to surrender. We have to learn how to surrender. What do we do? How do we learn to be spontaneous? That's the paradox.
Yeah. Well, basically, we have to go back to what it was normal for us. So how? There are many ways to do that. The game is to give us permission more and more of being fully who we are. However, for as long as we define ourselves based on the narrative that comes from the system, we think that we are something that we are not. So it is very important to start to really, really understand who we are. Okay, that's probably one of the first steps.
And who are we? I know this is a question that is asked like for thousands of years, and the answers are not always enough. Who are we, Marco?
Okay, well, we are source.
We are souls.
Source is everything. There is nothing outside source. So you cannot not be source. Okay. So I can share and this is my feeling, of course. It's not right or wrong. It's just what I feel,
Please.
I always felt.
Please.
So we can say that everything is source, and when you are everything, to use a human language, you have a problem, because when you're everything, you cannot understand who you are. How can you understand who you are if you are everything? You don't have any point of referral. You don't have a way to establish, you know, who am I? So in our source, in order to gain a sense of self, start to create the illusion of
separation,
of fragmentation. Okay. And one of the first fragmentations is the soul. All right. So source, through the fragmentation from what we can call the spirit, creates an infinite amount of playgrounds, operating systems, holograms, dreams, multi-universes, galaxies. I mean, an infinite amount of playground from which it can experience itself, right? So, of course, the story is much, much more complex. I'm just putting it in a few words. So the soul, which is source, look in his formless state of being, looks at all this incredible, infinite amount of possibilities, of matrix, to choose from his next adventure. Based on what? Based on what he thinks is proper for him to experience in order to continue his remembering, his evolution. And every time the soul evolves, meaning remember more who he is, soul has an orgasmic understanding of who it is. All right. So the soul has an infinite amount of possibilities, and we that are in this planet, obviously, are soul that have chosen this playground, this operating system called Mother Earth or human experience. And the soul is a multidimensional, so it experiences different playgrounds simultaneously.
Dimensions, right? Or frequencies.
Yeah. Frequencies, dimensions, reality, whatever you want to call it. You know, it's just different possibility, different dreams. Okay.
Yes. Oh, you mentioned the word movies when we talked the other day.
Yeah, we can get into the movies.
Yeah, we're going to get into that too.
Okay. So the souls that are present here in this planet have chosen this curriculum, this intense, amazing, fantastic curriculum that Mother Earth has to offer. And of course, when we choose a system, in order to navigate through the system, we have to wear an avatar. And this is our avatar. So if you are a human, you wear the human avatar. If you choose the operating system Andromedan, then you choose the avatar of an Andromedan, and so Pleiadian and whatever. There are millions of other possibilities, because in order to navigate in this matrix that have rules and regulations and experiences, you have to be properly fit. You know. So it's like if you choose to go on the bottom of the ocean, you have to wear some technology, some dress that properly allows you to navigate in those low frequencies.
I see.
So we have this avatar, and we are experiencing this dream. So if we maintain this awareness, this level of consciousness, then we can live the dream and have fun with it and have the experience and get passionate and involved with it, but we never get lost into it at the point where we believe that this is all that I got, this is all exists, and then I die and then it's over. Because that's where we went into it through the narrative of the system and the ego. Okay, which were installed into this experience a certain point of this cycle, of this Earth cycle. So back to what we were saying, once we understand who we are in a manner that goes beyond the narrative of the system, then we can play the system. It's fun. We can just like the example of the movie. There are many ways, many examples we can create from the movie, but one of them is when you go to a movie and you watch a movie, and the actors are maybe very good actors, so you get lost into the story and you participate, you get emotional. However, it doesn't matter how deep go into the movie, deeply inside, you know that you're just watching a movie, and in a couple hours will be over, and then you go back for whatever is next for you. So we have been watching this movie for about 10,000 years, to the point where we forgot that we are just watching a movie. We forgot, and we think we are the movie, and that was the work of the ego. The ego created this kind of interesting experience where we believe that we are what we project through our avatar.
I see.
And so, yeah, and
can I ask you a little question?
Sure. Yeah.
So if I understand correctly, and the fact that you're a musician actually helps me to better relate to what you're saying. the purpose, if there was a purpose for this existence, is simply playfulness. Like it's a manifestation that has no purpose per se. It's just exploration and manifestation in itself, right? Just like there is no purpose for a symphony. You have no objective with a song. You don't, it's not the first note that matters, nor the last. It's the play itself, it's the dance itself that matters, right? Okay, so I got that. And our what we're looking for deep down is to remember that we are the source, right? So correct me if I'm wrong in what I'm saying. Then how come we got to this this like it's very challenging for the avatar, like you say, for the ego? How come we got into this polarity? And I'd like to talk about that a little bit. Into this negative experiences, all these blockages. Where did we lose track of the truth on the way?
We didn't lose track of the truth. We
No?
just gave the consent to make the game much more intense than what was his original software. At a certain point during this last cycle, about 10,000 years ago, we accept the proposal, the offer of making the game of being on Earth much more intense in terms of low frequencies. And so we agreed to do that. And from the moment we agreed to do that, we gave the key of the software to certain intelligence who went inside the operating system and started to manipulate the original human experience, which is quite different from the one we've been living in the last 10,000 years. And so that's why we are living this extreme level of contractions, because we chosen, because we got excited. It's like if you are an amazing tennis player and you're so good and somebody says, hey, what about if I make the game more difficult? Would you like to play a game of tennis with a racket that is 10 kilos and a net that is 3 meters and a ball that bounce in a very different way and a body that maybe one leg doesn't work properly and one, and you say, that's interesting. Why not? Let's try, And so, because we truly, we were and we are such incredible advanced master that we got very excited about the idea of a challenge like the one that was offered to us 10,000 years ago. So we agreed to that and we give the consents, and till now we are keeping giving the consents. There is no victim here. We are just consenting. Now, of course, the level of consenting is now more subconscious than conscious. And that's why right now everything has to come to surface, because we have to look at all the stuff we've been consenting for, be aware of it, so we can choose, okay, are we going to play more of this game or we want to change the game now, So that's where we are right now, because we are at the end of the cycle. And approximately a couple of years ago, the collective, human collective, decided that this intense modification of the human experience was a wonderful experience, but it's enough. It's time for us to go back to the true human experience. And so from that moment, we started to unplug the matrix. And now there is the necessary time for each of us, not all of us, some of us, to make the necessary adjustments in order to go into the original operating system.
So what would be that? What's the original operating system? I mean, is there a design, the human being design, that we can open to? Are we moving, like, have we been moving away from who we can be as humans? What is, according to you, this initial design for the human being? I'm curious.
Okay. I can answer to you with the story if you want me to.
Yes, please.
So we talk about source that created all these fermentations in order to experience itself. And one day, source decided to call all the best of the best engineer in the multi-galactic universe. And he called them and he said, I want you to create an operating system and an avatar that is as closest as possible to myself. All right.
Sounds familiar.
So these fantastic engineers, and I use the word engineers, but it's not the engineer like we know it here, okay? It's completely different. But these fantastic engineers, they started to pick the best of the mineral kingdom, of the plant kingdom, of the animal kingdom, and they created this incredible environment, amazing environment. And then, of course, they need an avatar so that you can walk through this environment. And so they took all the best of elements of different extraterrestrial other avatars. And from these best avatar pieces, they created this amazing human body. And then the door is open. So any soul that wants to experience this park of transformational games, you can just walk into the avatar and just have fun. Okay. So in what way we are different from now? Imagine if you have a Ferrari that only can drive on the first gear. Okay. Basically, 98% of our buttons right now are off. Okay.
90%?
90, 95, 98%.
Wow.
So we have a DNA that is completely disconnected or almost completed, and now is waking up. We have a pineal gland that is completely shut down. We have an ego that is constantly sabotaging any kind of possible communication with the formless world, or with any real organic situation. We have a body that now, in order to survive, needs to ingest all this matter, and we have diseases to die for. We have a very limited time frame on this planet. We have the idea of scarcity that doesn't exist outside of this bubble where we are right now. We have the idea of survival and separation. We have fear. Fear is not part of the original operating system. Okay, so we have all these amazing tools that we've been playing for, these amazing limiting tools that they gave us an amazing experience. Now we are really master of separation. So once we graduate from this, and we are right now at the graduation time, we will be able to provide an amazing amount of information to most of the other life forms that have no clue of what it means to be in such a lower frequencies, you know. So that's one of the reasons. So we increase in an amazing way our power of discernment. And so once we go back to the original operating system and the original avatar, we will have the wisdom of 10,000 years of low frequencies. And that's quite amazing to add to the curriculum, but it was already amazing before this. Okay.
I see. So what do you call low frequency in your
low frequencies?
Yeah, low frequencies. What are they?
Just experiences. It's like if you are in front of a TV and you can tune in whatever channel you want. You want to tune into the horror movie, you watch the horror movie. You want to tune into the romantic movie, you watch the romantic movie. You want documentary, science, whatever, sport, you know, everything is a frequency. From the soul point of view, there is no judgment. It's not bad or good. There is just experiences that you either want to have or you don't. But everything is about love. And that's one thing we have to shift to. We have to remove the judgment. We have to remove the judgment, first of all, on ourselves, and then on everything else. Because for as long as we judge, we keep ourselves in the game of low frequencies.
No, for sure. But that also comes from the polarity, because we are born, this avatar, as you're saying, the body, as long as we are identified with it. It has a nervous system which is built in such a way that it gives us this duality, as dual signals. We feel pain and pleasure, we have attractions or repulsions. And how do you see the polarity of the body and of our nervous system in this context of the source? I mean, what happens is the body itself that transforms. You mentioned the DNA. Will there be, or is there a transformation at that level so the body itself can enable the expression of the source, of the truth of who we are?
Okay, well, first of all, the body is one of the intelligence that we have availability to when we wear this avatar. We have different intelligences.
Okay.
The body is just one. When we connect with an amazing intelligence of the body, we are connecting with the intelligence of Mother Earth.
I see.
So
okay.
When we connect with the body and we ask and we start a communication, basically we are talking with Mother Earth.
That's so true. That's so true. And it's beautiful indeed. Yes, yes. Sorry, we'll stop you right there for now. How do we do that?
How do we connect with the body?
How do you get to communicate with your body?
Just set the intent, and we go in a meditative state, and we start by, for example, feeling appreciation for the body, and we start to connect with the body, and the body will answer to you. It's really simple, and it's our natural way. Once we remove ourselves from this reptilian, Luciferian matrix that we've been experiencing, all this will be natural to us. We will, like I'm talking to you, I can talk to my body, I can talk to my soul, I can talk to my pineal gland, I can communicate through the DNA with many extraterrestrial species. I can communicate through my mind, the mind orchestrate everything. So there's so many ways I can communicate that right now are shut down. Like you can connect with anything. You can connect with a tree.
Just by setting the intention.
Yeah, you just have the intention and the openness. Of course, you have to have the predisposition, because the ego is going to start, oh, what are you doing? That doesn't work. Let's go back to reality. This is some nonsense. The ego start to do his job, right? So you have to have an intent that bypass the ego, that overcome the ego. At the beginning, it's not easy because, again, we identify ourselves with the narrative of the ego. For as long that keeps going, we will be stuck into this bubble where we've been for 10,000 years. However, we are getting a lot of support right now from life because, again, the whole collective, soul-wise, has decided that this is enough. We don't want to play anymore this. It's time to go back to the origin. And so from that moment, we start to have to face a lot of deprogramming, because it's going to get more and more unsustainable to hold the narrative of survival. So many people are calling me right now. I don't want to go. I feel bad just to think that tomorrow I have to go to have a job in an office. They cannot sustain anymore. All these narratives are not sustainable because the frequencies of the earth are raising up very high. I don't know if you saw the Schumann scale. How high is that? The frequencies are really, really high. So the matrix, as we know it right now, and the ego cannot sustain themselves anymore. That's why you see so much madness outside. It doesn't make any sense. Before, the battle between light and dark, which is an illusion, it did kind of make sense. Okay, so the light does this, the bad do that. Okay, it makes sense. Now it doesn't make any sense anymore. They are completely psychopathic, right?
Yes, yes.
They're completely in chaos. They say something, then the day after they say something else, because everything is crumbling. They don't have any more the input from the structure that the reptilian has built because it's collapsed. So what is left right now is our fear to let go of the past. That is the only reason why we are still living the idea of the inverted matrix. We are still living the survival and the pain and the fear and all that. Because, again, like a person that has been in a jail for 50 years, just to think about the idea that there is a door to get out of that, it terrorizes him. And so he look in denial. He's constantly looking somewhere else and denying that there is a door there. But you know what? Everything is crumbling. So no matter where you look,
you know, it's very hard to see this door when you're never used to looking for it, or to, you know, see a door there.
Exactly.
So
that's why
lots of people suffer in that sense, and they feel genuine fear and anxiety. People losing people in their, you know, close circles, family members. So it's not that easy. What would you tell them? What's that source of strength that you can look for if you never thought of any of those things that you just mentioned? If you don't know what the ego is, if you don't know what the source is, if you don't know your soul, if you all your life you thought that this is just, that's it, you know, I'm enjoying my life and then I'm dead and then that's it, it's over. Where do you start?
Well, just the fact that someone is listening to this conversation, it means that it's already open, it's already working on it. Yes, all right.
True.
The other ones, because not everyone are here to evolve. Not everyone are playing the major actor in the movie. There are supportive actors and there are extras, and those are not here to do what it will take right now to go from the old dream to the new one. All right, they are not here for that. They are for other reason here. They have different role that they're interpreting. So the ones that are going to listen to these kind of conversations are a small percentage. It's a growing percentage, but I doubt that you will ever listen to a conversation like that in the mainstream TV. Okay, it won't happen. Because that's not built for that. That's a reflection of the old system. So this is only for those that are feeling the desire, the passion for life. They want to understand more. They want to make a difference. They want to create. They feel a joy inside, or maybe they feel opposite. They feel an anguish. But either way, it's something that triggering them emotion. So they want to move the energy in order to do something about it. But many don't. Many just keep watching TV, numbing themselves, and preparing for leaving the planet. That's all they are doing, you know. And it's all good because we have a free will. And these people that are leaving the planet, they play a very important role, and they've been equally important as we are. And so appreciation and love needs to be spread to all kinds of people, not to only to the awakening one. Okay.
Interesting. So how do you see the without getting into details, but what's your vision on the next couple of years, for instance?
The next couple of years, the ego should be gone within the next couple of years. It seems like very almost impossible to believe that, because if you look outside, it's all ego, 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 more than ever.
It's only that, it's true.
But that's exactly why, because the polarization, in order to drop, has to get to its highest peak. Okay, so the next couple of years, we are going to be passing through a tsunami, a very intensified, low frequencies tsunami, which is meant to not to dominate us or to kill us, is just all the shadows that are the reflection of our shadows coming to surface, so that they lay down the table, and then we can look at them and make a choice and be responsible for it. And in that, we have the opportunity to remove the radical program of the inverted matrix, which is victim and savior, victim and savior. All right. For as long as we see ourselves as victim, and for as long as we are waiting for a savior, we are keeping feeding the matrix. So we need to let go of this victimhood.
I see. So rather than looking at this as something bad that's happening or something good that's happening, and rather than seeing myself as a victim in this, I'm supposed to feel what? To think that I am the source, and just look at it as if I'm looking at the movie. So my question is, in fact, am I supposed to be involved in this, or on the opposite, am I supposed to withdraw my energy from the game and just observe what's happening? Because many people feel the need to participate. They need to go into creating a new reality, or they want to fight against something. And so according to your vision on things, the observer is the best?
The observer doesn't mean to be passive, okay, or to be cold, distance. Let's put it this way. If me and you are in a house and the house goes on fire, we have two ways to go through this experience. Either we panic and we fear and we just move and just try to get, out of it.
Or fight with each other.
Or fight with each other too, yeah. Or we can center ourselves, don't judge it, don't get emotional about it, look, and that's when we have really the chances to find a way, the most intelligent way to get out. Not only that, but also to help as many people as we can with it.
I see.
So that's how we should position ourselves on the tsunami, in the center of the tsunami, which is not to be, again, passive or indifferent. Quite the opposite is the best way, because when you are centered, that's the only way where you can be supportive. And so in order to do that, we need to embrace a new level of consciousness, which is not new. We just temporarily let it go for less than 1,000 years. The consciousness where we go from a quality of love that is selective, so I love the light and I hate the darkness, all right, to a love that embrace everything, embrace all the aspects of the duality, the good, the bad, and the evil. Only when we love everything, so we feel appreciation for everything, that's the only way to get out from the house that is on fire.
And how can we love a house on fire?
By recognizing and appreciating the experience that a house on fire can give us. There's a lot of things that we can learn from a house on fire.
We can build a new one after.
Exactly, that's one. I mean, use your imagination. We can write a whole list of things that we can learn from a house of fire. We learn how to handle the fire. We learn how to build more self-esteem about certain situations. We learn how to connect with certain aspects of our life that gave us a higher level of discernment. We might grow bigger muscle because we have to move certain things so that the avatar also expand. I mean, there are so many things we can learn from the house on fire, right?
So basically, we can just not use, but in a sense, go with this situation and just allow ourselves to expand beyond what we thought we were, right? And since you mentioned discernment, as I read on one of your websites that you have developed this ability to discern what is resonating from what is not resonating. How does it work for you? How do you perceive it?
We have to shift from linear thinking to holistic thinking.
Okay.
Linear thinking is the rational mind, 1 + 1 is 2, look at reality and just is the, let's say, the scientific brain that needs proofs for everything. I don't believe it if you don't see it, kind of attitude. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's also an experience. And I'm not saying that you have to let it go entirely, but you have to blend that with the female energy, which is more intuition, is about knowing, and knowing that goes far beyond the 1 + 1 is 2. A knowing that is holistic, that see the whole picture. It doesn't just see ahead and behind, left and right. It see the whole picture. And in order to do that, we have to embrace both the male and the female energy within ourselves, whether we are men or women, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. We need to embrace both energies and learn to navigate by using a certain degree of rationality, but quite an extensive degree of knowing that comes from the soul. Okay, because the knowing can come from the soul, and the knowing that comes from the ego mind. And for as long as you put at the driver's seat the ego, first of all, you are constantly in a state of anxiety, because you are constantly concerned about the outcome, what it can go wrong. So you don't release yourself, you don't trust. You're saying, I don't trust life. I need to control every little aspect of my life, because only then I will feel safe. That's what the rational person does. I control everything. All right.
Yes.
You have to shift from there to a connection with, because that happens only when you're fully identified. We go back to what we said before. You're fully identified with this game as is the only thing that exists. Then, of course, your approach is very rational, because anything that is conceived outside of the game, you are not willing to see it or to address it as real or not. You just see only the game. Then life becomes very dramatic, very serious, usually, and very mediocre, because you cannot express your divine side, your amazing geniality. You cannot, because you are in this little box where you already understand, you already figure out what is right and what is wrong. So you're stuck now. All right. So we have to shift from that to understanding that there is much, much more than this little game. This is just a game we are playing. The house that is on fire is not the only reality. It's just a game we are playing. We are playing with the house on fire right now. Let's see how can we do it. Let's have fun with it. Let's have joy. Okay, let's be creative with that. There's so many things we can do right now, rather than be completely in the rational mind. So this is the shift of consciousness that the system doesn't want to achieve, and that's why, if you look at all the aspect of the matrix, inverted matrix, that's why it's called inverted, because everything is inverted. So you go to an educational system, you don't get expansion, you get indoctrinated, right? Yes. You go to religion, you don't feel this connection with source. You feel like this God that wants to punish you, and you are bad, and you need to, whatever story it is. There's many stories, but they're all right there in the box. Then you go to science, and it tells you that there are certain things that are not possible, and certain things are possible, and those things that are possible are usually the one that they want you to be, so you are controlled by. And so you go to whatever art also has been very much compromised. Look at what they did to music in the last 10 years. Music is completely dead.
True.
Completely
That
dead.
is awful.
They want to make sure. Look at sexuality. Our sexuality is being completely bombarded with all kind of porn and domination, submission, and aspect of your life that you have to enunciate in order to feel sexy. I mean, there is all kind of stuff that they do to sexuality. That's another portal. Nature, they are killing nature because that's another portal. So they are really doing everything possible to stop the inevitable, which is the awakening of the humankind.
But you just said it, it's inevitable. So
Inevitable.
there, like you said before, there is no way that we cannot awaken through this, right?
Yeah, those that choose to, because there is always free will.
There's always free will.
So if you don't, if you choose not to, well, there's so many ways you can, one just came in the last couple of years,
All right. I had some questions about your book, but we're reaching the hour that we have decided to spend together, and this gives me a very good excuse to meet you for a second time, because I want to have more of you on my channel. And I'm going to add some of your music because I think everybody watching, they need to hear your music, because all these words will become kind of useless. So you're lucky, because I was hearing you earlier talk about the structure that is useful, but it's not the answer. And I think music, that's why you're so close to that truth, because music is one of the metaphors that best explain what's going on. At every single moment in time, you can use music as a metaphor to describe something that goes beyond our physical and very rigid experience on earth, because music is the one that is taking you beyond it. And besides, we have the notes, right? And please don't laugh at me, because I don't know much about music, but you have the notes. And then with those notes, you can create an infinity of possibilities. There is a structure, but the structure is just the notes. And then you take that, and then you can create, and sky's the limit, right? We give names to these notes, but they don't really exist. It's just a sound. It's just a frequency. And then by using these combinations, we can create, and we can actually expand.
We have to consider one thing, that music exists millions and millions of years before notes were created.
Exactly.
In fact, I have to tell you that despite me studying for a short period of time music theory, it's not in me. I never know anything about music. I don't know notes. I don't know anything.
So Marco, one last question. Who are you?
I am like you. I'm a soul that is having a human experience, a soul that is wearing this amazing avatar with amazing uniqueness, like all the other people that are in this planet. And we have imagination that guide us, and we have our uniqueness that if we have the strength and the courage to fully embrace, will take us to the most amazing journey.
The journey of the soul.
The journey of the soul.
And this is going to be our next subject, talk about your book. And if there was a message that you would like, because now you have the opportunity, another opportunity, because you do that by all means, another opportunity to give a message to those listening, what would that be to help them go through this? Few words.
Yeah, right now it's really, really important that we address all our emotions and bring them to surface and find appreciation for them and rewrite the story of our past. That's one of the most important things we need to do, to rewrite the story of our past, because every time we connect with the memories, we are doing a simulation. And through this simulation, we create the chances to rewrite the story, and so we can let it go or make a beautiful story instead of a miserable one. So that's one of the many things we can do.
Yeah, rewrite the story of the past. Perfect. So for everybody listening, I'm going to add here in the comment section the coordinates and all the links, so you can access Marco's websites and you can see and learn more about what he's doing. And if you want to have a talk with him, a conversation with him, or just want to buy his book or want to, explore his journey of the soul, all the information will be there. So thank you, Marco, for this very interesting and very inspiring conversation. I loved it.
Thank you, Suzana. I appreciate you very much.
And thank you all for watching, and please think of liking and subscribing so that you too can be part of this process. And if you have something to say, contact me and let's talk. And until the next conversation, be good and enjoy the game. See you all very soon.
Oh